Good afternoon, everybody. It's Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. I hope everybody's doing well on this Saturday, June 15, 2024. I've got another article by Janet Phelan, another bombshell article. I mean, I knew that she was doing this. I'm on her mailing list. I just didn't know when it was going to happen. So here we go. Remember to hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel grow, get the message out there. U.S. journalist files restraining order against the CIA. That's right, CIA. Not my favorite bureau of instigation. It's the CIA. American journalist and author who fled the U.S., has been residing in Mexico, has filed an injunction against the U.S. government for what appears to be, quote, transnational repression, unquote, on the part of U.S. authorities. The claims made in Janet Phelan's injunction, which is the injunction in Exhibits 1 through 7 and Exhibits 8 through 18, which are buttressed by evidence provided to the court, including 1, claims of assault and battery via unconventional weapons, largely chemical in nature, 2, denial of medical care, and 3, denial of access to the legal system. Sound familiar? The injunction provides evidence of a health crisis which the journalist claims is precisely caused by the weapons attacks and includes renal failure and substantial crippling, the exact diagnosis being sensory ataxia, as effects of the weapons deployment. She also includes medical records of a recent hospitalization in Mexico City where the assigned doctors Julio Cesar Arriga is a nephrologist and Xavier Nares, a neurologist, failed to provide treatment or offer effective remedy for the diagnoses, instead discharging her after a month without effective treatment. Phelan claims that the issue with the U.S. government began at the onset of an outreach to her by an undercover federal agent back around the turn of the millennium, and that due to his subsequent involvement in her family life, her mother ended up dead. This is laid out with documentation in her 2014 book entitled Exile, a book which also predicted the pandemic and the current Israel conflict. Other essential similar claims have been filed in federal court alleging that the U.S. government is ignoring constitutional and statutory legal protections and is attempting to harm U.S. citizens. The lawsuit by U.S.-born reporter, formerly with CNN and Al Jazeera, Bilal Abdul Karim, was dismissed by Judge Rosemary Collier following protestations of, quote-unquote, sing it with me, guys, national security, by the U.S. DOJ. Karim had alleged that he had been put on a U.S. kill list, an unaliving list, while covering the Syrian conflict, and that the U.S. had tried to blow him up with drones and at least one Hellfire missile. Wow, that's pretty serious business. A quote-unquote Havana Syndrome type lawsuit was recently filed and dismissed in federal court in Texas. The rather peculiarly constructed lawsuit was filed on behalf of 17 alleged Havana Syndrome victims and appears to have conflated weapons deployment with a placement on the terrorist watch list, a claim which does not appear to have been substantiated and may have only muddled the issue. Other claims of weapons deployment against U.S. citizens have been met with short shrift from the court. Janet Phelan is a mainstream trained journalist who has been writing for the independent media since 2004. She is the author of 4 books, 2 of which are poetry, and 2 of which, Exile and the recent book on the pandemic at the breaking point of history, can be classified as intelligence exposés. She is best known for her work on judicial corruption and also for her controversial research demonstrating that a secondary pandemic delivery system exists in the U.S. as well as in multiple allied countries. The injunction has been submitted for filing in the U.S. District Court in California. So, I hope that you find that this is interesting. I think it's wonderful that she has filed an injunction, and now this is public. And that's why we need to make it public knowledge to expose what's happening here. And please remember to share if you feel inclined to do so. I appreciate everybody that is sharing some of the content here. It helps people understand what may or may not be happening to them, or maybe a friend or family member. Because the gang stalking or the community harassment, the organized contract stalking that involves community-based agents, neighbors, fusion center operatives, InfraGard, retired military, retired police officers, is happening. It's happening across the United States. It's happening in every city and every state. People are being bribed, coerced, blackmailed. It's extortion. However, Steve and Friends, one of the suspendables of my favorite Bureau of Instigation, I say that for those newcomers, it's the FBI. I call them my favorite Bureau of Instigation, because that's basically what they do. They instigate crime. They instigate people. Poke, 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 poke. You poke somebody enough, they're going to respond. They're going to act out. That's what they do. We don't have enough crime in the United States. We really don't. So they have to create it to keep their jobs. It's called job security, right? And then they've got to bloat the watch list so they can file for more grants. We need to shut them all down. Anyway, feel free to share this. Remember, Janet Phelan is a mainstream trained journalist. She's been writing for independent media since 2004. She's the author of 4 books, 2 of which are poetry. One is called Exile, and her recent book on the pandemic is At the Breaking Point of History. Actually, I believe you can find it on Amazon. But anyway, this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. Please remember to hit the thumbs up, and I hope everybody's doing well. And I will talk to you soon.